Today on the channel we're going to compare three EVH guitars. We're going to take a close-up look at the 5150 Stripe series, we're going to take a look at the striped EVH Frankie, and we're going to take a look at the Frankie Relic series. Let's go. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at my EVH Frankie, my EVH Frankie Relic, and my EVH 5150 Stripe series. Okay, so we're going to take a look at these guitars in depth, up close and personal, and then I'm going to run a sound demo and compare all three models with each other. I've had quite a few requests over the last couple weeks for people wanting to see the differences in a shootout between the Frankie and the 5150 Stripe series. And since I've got this Frankie Relic series and the Frankie, I thought it'd be kind of neat to show if these two are similar in tone and in comparison to the 5150 Stripe series, right? So I've got my own opinions based on me playing these over the last month. I've had this 5150 maybe 3 weeks. Maybe a little more, a little less, but I really love the guitar, and I know what I think it sounds like in comparison to these two. And I've obviously played this one a whole lot. So if we take a look at this one, a lot of people think this fretboard is like relic or just worn out. In all honesty, it's just grubby, and I don't clean it. I like the way that it feels. I think it looks cool. Some people are probably extremely grossed out by that. But I've played a bunch of gigs with this guitar and a lot of summer gigs, a lot of outdoor stuff, and it's just gotten grubby over time. I've never had a guitar that actually did this, so I thought it was kind of neat. And in honor of what Eddie's look like, I just kept it that way. My friend Nick Kane that used to play with the Mavericks, he has a Les Paul Custom, an old black beauty, and he brought it in a few years ago to a tech and had it completely set up, and the tech cleaned his neck and washed everything off of it. And Nick got really mad because he wanted all the grub and the feel of the neck to be the way that it was, the way he was used to it. And he was telling me about that. He's a good friend of mine, and I thought it was kind of funny at the time. I thought, well, what's the big deal? But I started thinking about it, and I'm like, after I've cleaned a lot of my necks and I've played the guitar a long time, that's just part of it. I guess as guitar players, we're all unique in our own way, maybe a little weird, maybe a little eccentric, but that's cool. We're entitled to do that, and that's our prerogative, right? So let's get some close-up shots of the Frankie. Okay, so first of all, the Frankenstein guitar. Those of you that are Van Halen experts are probably going to be looking at this going, oh, duh, we didn't know that. But many of you watching the channel may not be aware. But the Frankenstein was Eddie's first real incarnation of his dreams and his aspirations as a young guitar player. And he built it from parts. We've heard the story a million times. And obviously he took a old Gibson humbucker, I think from a 59 335 or something of that nature, and he carved out the wood of a body. I think it was a boogie body, like a Charvel or something, and he carved the bridge pickup slot out, and he angled the pickup this way so that the poles would line up even with the strings. He wasn't able to figure out how to wire everything back up, so he just crammed the parts back in there. Some of it was probably to throw people off. Obviously, this pick guard, since he didn't have the pickup rings or the screws, he probably lost all that stuff. He had to make a makeshift pick guard and put a volume pot on it, and in doing so, the one pickup shred Super Strat was born with a humbucker, and then obviously Floyd Rose came along years later and was able to get a nice stable locking nut system that we've grown to love as rock guitar players, as Van Halen fans and metal fans. That's a must-have in my opinion. And the paint job on this guitar is the original style that Eddie came up with for the Frankenstein with the stripes. Anyway, this guitar started off, I believe, black and white, and then he painted it I believe, yellow and black. Correct me in the comments. It's been so long since I've done the research on it, and then this is the paint job that everyone came to grow to love and appreciate. It's got that mustache on it, and this one comes equipped with a D-tuna. I put that quarter on there. That's not a 1974. Can't remember what year that is, but I bought that on eBay for 10 bucks. Originally, Eddie put that quarter under the tremolo system to stabilize the tremolo from floating upwards, from floating sharp. So he crammed that quarter underneath it to make a base between the body and the tremolo. So that's what I did. And ironically, when I got this guitar brand new from EVH, I couldn't get the bar to rest properly with the right action, so the quarter did the trick, and I was like, well, thanks, Ed. Standard Strat style boat output jack. Now when we look at the EVH Relic series, this is the exact same guitar, except it doesn't have the stripes. Now if you notice anything different about this one has a pick guard. I have a video on my channel where I purchased this guitar and brought it home and I made it my own. So the reason I bought this guitar was so that I could play cover gigs and original gigs without looking like Eddie, right? I mean, nothing wrong with this, but say you're doing a cover gig and you get up to play Journey, Don't Stop Believin', or you get up to play one of your own original songs and you pull out this guitar, it's going to look a little bit weird, right? People are going to automatically think, oh, play Unchained, play Jump, play Hot for Teacher. And so this, I was able to make it my own. I activated the neck pickup and I put a 3-way switch on it and a tortoiseshell pick guard. Both have quarter sawn maple necks. Beautiful. Now when we get over to the 5150, the 5150 is relatively the same shape, but as you can see the humbucker is straight on, no angle. There's no extra routes for the neck or the middle pickup, and typical of the style, it's got the volume tone, low friction volume, volume pot / tone pot, as Eddie would call it. The output jack is on the bottom, which I like a lot better than the boat jack personally. Same tremolo system, Floyd Rose 1000 with a D-tuna. They come equipped with the 5150 decal. The paint scheme is different. This is the 5150 scheme, which you can always tell by looking at this, and it lacks the mustache. When we come over here, this looks completely different because of the routing. The paint on the 5150 is more of a matte type finish, and the other one has sort of a satin feel to it, oily satin. This neck is a lighter colored neck. It's a maple neck, and then we've got this hockey stick style headstock, the EVH hockey stick style. It's not the patented Kramer style. Now the Kramer decal was put on this by a prior owner. I bought this used, but I don't mind that. That's cool. That's true to form, and it's got the EVH logo on the headstock, of course. Locking nut. Beautiful guitar, and the prior owner did put the strap holders. He put the little rings on it, so true to form as Edward would do. Let's flip these guitars over and take a look at the backs. So I've got 3 springs on this Floyd Rose claw just because that's how I wanted this one set up, just to get the bar flush to the body. That's what I did. I think I'm going to go back to 2 springs, though it's a little bit easier to push the bar down. And I have my EVH Relic series with just 2 springs, and it feels so good. I'm going to go back to a 2-spring method on this here. Probably neck spring chain, or string change, I should say. So the back of the necks on these, you can see what that looks like. Okay, and on the Frankie Relic series, here's what the relics look like on the back of this. I know a lot of guys hate Relic guitars. I like them. I think they're cool. It doesn't bother me. You know, it's not a big deal. Then the back of the neck, very similar. Exact same neck that's on the striped Frankie. Feels pretty much the same. But both guitars have their own unique qualities, I have to say. And then the back of the 5150 Stripe series. 2 springs on the claw. Same exact tremolo system. This one's got the controls obviously inside the guitar because it's not a Strat style guitar on the front with a pick guard. So that's, you know, I like that. Especially when you're working on stuff, it's easier to get to things. Maybe that's why Eddie decided to go that route. In the back of our neck here, this one's got a stinger on the back of the headstock. And the red headstock itself, EVH tuners. Cool. So there you have it. There's the back of these babies. And not much else really to cover other than let's take a look at how each one of these sounds. I'll run them through my Fractal Axe 8 through a Friedman BE setting. The exact same EQ, volume, everything, and we'll compare. We'll just do some ripping on them. Okay, so we're in the studio now. I'm going to do the 5150 first, then I'm going to do the Frankie, and then we're going to go over to the Frankie Relic series, okay? So let's check it out. Okay, so what did you think? I want to know in the comments below. Be honest. Did they sound different to you in the room and playing wise? They're completely different guitars, all three of them. Now the Frankies are very, very similar. Obviously, it's the same guitar, just a different paint job, right? But here's my opinion, and hopefully it doesn't alter what you all think and influence your decisions. But my opinion, based on playing them and experiencing these guitars for quite some time now, the 5150 is a lot brighter sounding. And to my knowledge, it's the same exact pickup, right? But you know, the body's different, the layout is different, but this is a brighter sounding guitar. It's got more mid-range. I think it sounds awesome. It fits well in a mix, and this guitar is fast. It plays really slick, okay? But this guitar definitely has a snappier feel to it. Now, the Frankie, this was the first one that I ever bought. This Frankie is a few years old, right? I got it maybe a few months after they came out. I'm trying to be careful here so I don't knock things over. Now, this guitar is very brown sounding. Without trying to, use Eddie's term, it's just what it is. This guitar has kind of a dark, fair warning, kind of squishy sound to it. This has a magical brown, real, just a nice fat tone to it. Not putting the 5150 down, I like them equally, but this one has that type of tone. I don't know if it's the neck, the quarter sawn maple neck, the headstock, the way that this is laid out. Who knows? I mean, guitars, we've been searching answers to why guitars sound differently than each other for decades now, right? And this guitar does sound differently than the Frankie Relic series, but this is definitely a brown sounding guitar. Could be that this guitar has older strings on it too, but this guitar historically has always been a really fat, warm, brown sounding guitar. I always thought it was my imagination, but it really isn't. Now this guitar is similar. This guitar has a similar tone. It's not quite as fat as the Frankie, the Stripe Frankie, but this one is very close, very warm, very brown sounding, a little bit brighter, and obviously you could hear I engaged the neck pickup. This is a great Fender neck pickup, by the way. You could hear when I went into Best of Both Worlds and some of the bluesier stuff towards the end, this thing definitely gives this guitar more versatility. So I recommend making this mod if you get one of these guitars. I would leave the Frankie the way it was designed and intended, but this one, maybe the wiring has caused this one to be a little bit less brown sounding. Maybe you know, including the extra wiring and connecting it together, maybe that takes something away from it. I don't know. Very minimal difference, but this is a little snappier, but very similar. So there you have it. I hope this was helpful. Hope you enjoyed this crazy little demo between these three guitars, but I guess it had to be done, and I enjoyed doing it. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing, comment below, and as always, have a great day. Peace out.